in this function, we will talk about returning value of functions. A function doesn't always have to display its output directly. Instead, it can process some data and then return a value or set of values. The value the function returns is called a return value. The return statement takes a value from inside a function and sends it back to the lines that called the function. First, returning a simple value. Let's look at a function that takes a first and a last name and returns a neatly formatted full name. So this function called getFormatTheName has two parameters. First is the first name and the last name. And inside the function, the full name is a variable created with the first name concatenated with a space and the last name. Then we write a return statement, return full name title form. Here, return. So the full name's value will be returned to the variable in the line in which the function is being called. So here, the musician is a variable and equals the value. The value is the return value of the getFormatTheName, and calling this function, we input two arguments for the parameters, first name and the last name. So in this situation, the musicians is a full name, is the full name title form, and the value of the full name is Jimi Hendrix. So the returned value is stored in the variable musician. Now actually we can make an argument optional. Sometimes it makes sense to make an argument optional so that people using the function can choose to provide extra information only if they want to. You can use default values to make an argument optional. For example, say we want to expand getFormatTheName function to handle middle names as well. A first attempt to include middle names might look like this. So people may want to write diff getFormatTheName, then add a middle name in parameters. So there are three parameters for this function. And inside the function, the full name is first name concatenated with middle name concatenated with last name. Then return full name to the place where the function is being called. So musician here now is the return value of the function being called with the input three arguments for first name, middle name, and last name. So musician is John Hook Lee here. So this function works when given a first, middle, and a last name. The function takes in all three parts of a name and then builds a string out of them. But middle names aren't always needed, and this function as a return would not work if you tried to call it with only a first name and a last name, because this function's definition means it always needs middle name. It always needs middle name. So if the person has no middle name, so the calling will have problem. A better solution would be to make the middle name optional. So we can give the middle name argument an empty default value and ignore the argument unless the user provides a value. So if the user does not have middle name, then he just needs to input first name and the last name when he is calling the function. So here we change the function's definition. Here, middle name is used as an optional value with empty string here. And first name, last name is the first and second parameter. A middle name is the last one. So inside the function, the definition, we first use if conditional test. If middle name means if middle name's value is not empty. If middle name's value is not empty, which means if user has input a middle name when he is calling the function, then full name is first name concatenated with the middle name and the last name. Else, if middle name is empty, so we will run the else statement. So the full name is only the concatenation of first name and the last name. And the return value is the same, return the full name with the title form. So calling the function here, the person has only first name and the last name. So he just can use get formatted name Jimi Hendrix and can print the result is Jimi Hendrix. But if he has middle name, he needed to input 3 value for the parameters John Hook Lee here. And in the body of the function, we check to see if a middle name has been provided. Function interprets non-empty string as true. So if a middle name evaluates to true, if a middle name argument is in the function call. Calling this function with the first and the last name is straightforward. So if we are using a middle name, however, we have to make sure the middle name is the last argument passed, so Python will match up the position arguments correctly. So here, the John Hook is the first name and the last name. Lee is the middle name. Lee is the middle name because middle name's position is the last one. This is actually the positional passing of arguments. We will show all these statements in Anaconda Spider. So let us move to the lecture 3, functions returning a simple value. A function that takes a first and a last name and returns a neatly formatted full name. So this is the simplest form of the function with only first name and the last name. 2 parameters. Their full name is the first name concatenated with the last name, then return a full name's title form. So we create this function, run. Then musician is the return value of this function calling. Return, then we can print this musician's value. Jimi Hendrix. So here making an argument optional. A first attempt to include the middle name might look like this. So people may change the function definition, like adding middle name here. So there are three parameters to be inputted in the function calling. And the full name is a concatenation of first, middle, and the last name here. So we run this, create this function. Then musician is the value returned by calling the function when input 3 value. Here, John Hook is the first and last name, and Lee is the middle name. Oh no, sorry, John Hook. John is first name, Hook is middle name, and Lee is the last name. Then run calling. Then we print out the musician. So here, John Hook. Hook is the middle name here. because the middle name is the second parameter. So a better solution is to make the middle name optional. So we can give the middle name argument an empty default value and ignore the argument unless the user provides a value. So here we moved middle name to the last with an empty value, empty string for the default value. So middle name has a default value with empty string, and inside the function there's a if test. So if middle name's value is not empty, the full name will be 3 value concatenation. And if the middle name is empty, go to the else statement, then full name is only the first name and the last name is concatenation. We run this function's definition, and then we call in the function musician. In this case is only 2 values, means first name and the last name. Then print only first name and last name. Then next we call in the function with 3 value, which means first name, last name, and the middle name. Run this, then we print out to see. So John Lee Hooker, Lee is the middle name. Although here the input last one place, because the function definition middle name is the last one.